Hey guys, welcome to Thanks I Ate It podcast. What did we decide? The only podcast where everything's made up and points don't matter? I thought I would get a laugh out of only the Gen Xers in the room. Today, our guest is Mark DeJoy, my fellow food writer and friend, your friend and mine. Hi, Mark.
Hey.
How you doing? I haven't seen you in a minute. It's good to see you.
It's been a literal minute.
Yeah, your bangs look good.
Oh, thanks. I do need a haircut, but it's working out pretty well for me right now.
Yeah, we're both we're bangs twins. So.
Yeah, I was thinking like doing the Chris Collinsworth slide in, but I don't know if I
There's still time. You can do that. We can edit it. Do it. I dare it.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes. Anyway.
Welcome, Mark DeJoy. Hi, Jeff. How are you doing? I can't see your bangs, but I bet they're good.
Yeah, they're a little bit more baby and straighter than your guys' are,
Yeah.
but I think together we've got all the 90s hairstyles covered. I've got kind of more like a Damon Albarn thing. You've got kind of more like a Ben Gibbard thing. So
Yeah,
we got
Have you ever heard that one before, Mark? Ben Gibbard?
I'm famous for it.
Yeah.
I should have come up with something a little bit deeper of a cup because that was a little bit lazy, but...
It plagues Mark everywhere he goes. People say he looks like Ben Gibbard. But then I saw Ben Gibbard, and he doesn't actually look anything like Mark at all.
Yeah, it's very funny, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where people are getting it from. I used to think people got it from the glasses, but he doesn't even wear glasses. So.
Well, I think
there's
kind of a Mandela effect going on with Ben Gibbard, where it's like we all just kind of have assumed that Ben Gibbard looks like an entire like group of people socially. It is like how you look. Like I can't see. I've seen it. We all know what Ben Gibbard looks like in our brain, and we're all wrong.
Did he not wear glasses? I think you're right. It is a Mandela effect. Mandela effect.
Mandela, yeah.
It's Nelson.
Am I someone who looks weird without glasses now? Is that like a thing that happens to me?
You look younger.
This is like the Mark DeJoy vanity episode so far.
You look more concerned.
I look terrible. I have like concentric rings under my eyes if I take my glasses off, so I look older without the glasses. Jeff, how was your week?
My week was good. I guess I'm trying to think about the last time we spoke. We didn't do an episode after the Super Bowl,
off,
so it's been a couple weeks.
Super Bowl.
I was in Arizona for like 4 days before the Super Bowl, so I know we're not talking about food in the Southwest, but I definitely just had a bunch of Mexican food. Had some fun times down there. I went to a mini golf / amusement park.
Whoa!
Which was like way more fun than it should have been.
A mini golf amusement park? We can talk about Arizona. That's fine.
It's called Castles and Coasters, and it's like in the neighborhood that my girlfriend grew up in, which is kind of like Northwest Phoenix, like almost Glendale. And they had like 4 different mini golf courses that were like the most elaborate. Like they literally had, it looked like a movie set. Like, you know how there's just like that random place in Hollywood, I'm sure, that just looks like a country western like center of town with like the saloons and like there's the place where the duels happen and stuff.
Yeah.
That was just one of the 72 holes they had there. And it was like clearly it had been painted in the last 10 years and like it was not like in disrepair. I was like, man,
that never happens.
This place is going gangbusters right now. Like they had like a new zip line. My partner was like, oh my God, they've like expanded. So
there's a mini golf industry.
Is there like mini golf innovation happening? Like where there's, it's not just the windmill, it's like a wind turbine now because it's like actually up to date.
Maybe not in Arizona, but if it was happening in a more progressive state, possibly.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I can't think of any time I had a good time in Phoenix. So you're describing like it's confusing.
I'm purposefully leaving out the bad times because we could have a whole show about the emotional damage that's been done.
Yeah, don't go to Arizona, man. Every time I go to Arizona, I just remember it as like a giant Staples parking lot. Like the whole city is just a strip mall parking lot.
Yeah, with like visible heat waves coming up.
Yeah,
from the
right. Like a shimmer, a terrifying shimmer. That's the name of the episode.
Terrifying shimmer.
Well, is anyone going to ask me how my week was?
Meg, how was your week?
It's terrible. It was very busy and hard. It was just a death by 1,000 tasks. But, I wrote like 4 different articles in one day and tried futilely to clean the house and tried to do some garden shit and nothing of note. Thank you for asking. Mark, how was your week?
Well, also death by 1,000 tasks, but I was basking in the Seahawks Super Bowl victory. And
we should talk about Seahawks, huh?
taking in every bit of content I could possibly find. Like, oh,
Really?
there's some behind the scenes mic'd up moments of players just being like, oh, let's go, and that's all they say because that's usually what mic'd up is. But that was great.
You guys are both sports guys. I'm the odd one out here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was surprised. I didn't know Ben Gibbard was also a sports fan.
Stop! That's so rude. Don't. You gotta cut that.
That's how I connect with like boomer dads, you know. Like, like when I'm like dating someone and they're always like, who's this puffball? I'm like, maybe a cover 3 zone would be better in this spot. What do you think, Jim?
Jim, they're all named Jim, aren't they?
So this is interesting. Do you feel like, because although I feel like it's, you know, very, very possible / I've already kind of discerned that you actually do have like genuine football knowledge and you love football, do you also feel like you're kind of masking when you're talking about it to people because it's so like incongruent to the rest of your personality?
For sure.
Because I totally feel that way. Like nobody thinks that I'm a football fan, and all of a sudden I'm talking about like wide 9 technique and like cover 0 and like shotgun, like, you know, like just whatever, you know. It's like people, and it gives me credibility with straight white men, and it's like it's just like it's just a way for me to put like anybody at the restaurant at ease if they're like, I don't know,
good restaurant skill. It's good, a really service skill. Yeah,
sports is a really good service skill, and people will literally just like talk your ear off once they realize that you know ball, I guess is what the kids say.
So true. Yeah. But I'm reminded of this every time I watch a game and it goes to the commercial break, because it's always like, bruh, the extra ball, giant testicle dodge ram with extra hemisphere. You know, it's just like, whoa.
You're like, is that what I sound like? Is this how I'm presenting myself?
Yeah,
extra
exactly.
Testicle?
You just realize the game is not for you. Like,
with tactical transmission. Like, what?
The advertisements are not for us at all.
Steven once said, we were traveling, I think, in Boston, and we got into a cab. I don't even think it was an Uber. I think it was a taxi cab, and he just starts shooting the shit about football, baseball. I don't know what sport it was. And I was like, wow, you really like code switch there. And he's like, it's the universal language for men. If the driver had been a lady or, you know, not obviously a fucking dude in a hat, I probably wouldn't have been able to speak that language to the driver. But I just knew right away, and I think the guy had something hanging from his rear view. Like, Steven picked up on the symbols, and they were able to speak fluently together. And I was like, wow, like, you made that more easy with this language skill that you have that I certainly do not.
Yeah, and it's even, like, kind of funny how gendered it has been, you know, traditionally. And that's kind of changing in a way that I think is really cool these days.
Yeah.
Like, I know lots of women who are super into football these days, and I think it's awesome, actually.
I'm not saying there aren't any. I just don't. I haven't met them yet. Are you guys happy that the Seahawks won the Super Bowl?
It's incredible. It was not expected at all, which I think really amps up the joy of it. There's a certain, if you're a fan of a team who's favored to win it all, the season is sort of imbued with this sense of it's a little stressful because if they don't win it, they blew it, right? At the beginning of this season, I was thinking, well, there's a new offensive coordinator. Is this offense going to like be better than last year when it sucked? Or will it be actually decent? They've got some good players. I don't know how they'll do. I started this season going to a Green Bay Packers game at Lambeau Field. And at the time, I was thinking, oh, the Packers are way better than the Seahawks. But it'll be cool if the Seahawks can make it to the playoffs this year, and we'll see what happens. And that was really...
You had money on the Packers. Wow. What
that's where
deserter.
I mean, how long football season is, because at that point you were totally right. I mean, the Packers were at the top of everybody's power rankings for the first like 3 weeks of the season. It thought like, oh, this Micah Parsons addition actually mattered. You know, they were beating teams handily, and the Seahawks just continue to get better. And it does kind of happen like that every football season, where you have to peak at the right time. A lot of the best teams, and this is kind of where I have to reveal to you, Mark, that I'm born and raised in Massachusetts, so I was definitely rooting for the Patriots last week. Although I think everything you said about how fans of Seattle were stressed that they were favored by so much, and it's almost like all you can really do is blow it or just do what you were expected to do. I really enjoyed the exact opposite dynamic, where it was like, we're almost certainly going to lose this game in a convincing way. But if we don't, it's going to be really epic.
Yeah.
So I got to kind of enjoy it from that aspect, even like halfway through the game where it was like, there's no logical way that we're going to go down the field and score enough points to make this a competitive game. It was like, well, that's why they play the game. Cause like a couple things can go wrong and like miracles can happen, to quote Hillary Duff or whoever that is.
Miracle.
Isn't that a Stevie Nicks? I was rooting for the Patriots because I was trying to get work done in my office and I didn't want to listen to the fireworks. And there were fireworks. And I was like, this is really distracting. God damn it.
Oh, my God.
Born and raised in Seattle. Although I went to school in Boston for a summer. I can root for the Patriots.
Right. I will say that I was very happy for the city. In my own self-interest, I'm really happy that Seattle, as well as the Mariners, I guess, they're both Seattle, but the Seahawks and the Mariners both gave us like extra games this year. As somebody who works in Pioneer Square, like that's definitely a super bonus. Like it's a finite amount of money that we wouldn't have received if those games didn't happen. So I have, I kind of have to be a Seahawks fan, or at least not a Seahawks hater like I was back when they lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Because at this point they've basically like helped my livelihood. So
they played the Patriots already. This is the second face-off for the Patriots, and they won.
Oh, you mean
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
You mean you want Mark to explain to you what happened the first time they played?
I would love it if Mark. Do you know? Were you paying attention? I wasn't.
Nothing could illustrate how little of a fuck you give than not knowing that.
I didn't know
like,
that.
There was like a very traumatic loss to the Patriots that happened.
What year?
Traumatic is one word for it.
2015.
I wasn't even born yet in 2015.
Yeah.
In Glendale, Arizona.
I was 35 years old. No, I didn't care then, and I don't care now.
Yeah.
I'm glad you care, though, because people listening ostensibly will care. I also look forward to hearing what you ate during the Super Bowl, which maybe we'll talk about later.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Mark and I, as our 4 listeners will probably already know, used to host a podcast called the Dinnernet Podcast with Mark and Meg, and it was similar to this one, but it was pretty Seattle-centric. And I just wanted to bring Mark on to talk mostly about food writing and the biz of food writing, because it's changing lately, right?
Ooh, boy, is it ever.
Yeah. How are you doing? Like, let's kick it off by asking what you're working on right now, or what you've written lately.
Yeah, well, what I'm working on right now is nothing.
Really?
In the food writing sphere. I hope to be working on something soon, but as you know, of course, my main freelance client for food writing has been Eater Seattle, and there were some changes at Eater.
There's been a big change,
eliminated the editor position. So
right.
They will still be publishing stuff and have been publishing stuff, but it's looking like it's going to be less frequent than it was before.
My understanding is they were doing 3 stories a day, ideally, sometimes 2. And now they're doing 3 per month, which sounds fucking crazy to me. I don't know if they live up to that. I think they actually, in practice, are posting more than 3 per month.
I think so too.
Okay.
So to me, there's a little bit of hope there. Yeah, I did just finish working on a couple pieces for them. It was a wings map update, and
world needs wings. That's good.
Well, I mean, they needed wings more than ever during.
Take these broken wings. When was that? Last week?
It was a couple weeks ago, leading up to the Super Bowl. So I think maybe the last week of January. Which was a little unfortunate because there was very short notice for that update. Mm-hmm. So really, they only wanted me to fact check the existing entries, and I kind of thought, like, I don't want to like update this and not, because I've got a running list of places. It's like 18 long for wings that I want to try and like want to consider for adding to this map. And the turnaround time was not enough to get into that much, but I did get one of the places on my list on there, and that was some random bar.
Good.
Their wings are fucking phenomenal.
So I heard. So I read from you.
Yes, the thing that I don't want to like Chekhov's gun down. I feel like if I say they're phenomenal, I got to explain why, right?
What the fuck? Explain
yourself. Because they cone feed them. So it's like this like chili sauce wings that are cone feed, and they fall off the bone so easily that it's almost like, you know how people do that thing, like buffalo people especially, well, they'll take a flat and they'll just put it all in their mouth and like drag it out and the bones clean. I could never imagine doing that, and I kind of still can't because it's kind of like too much at once to me. But with those wings, I definitely could. Like that would be simple. So I think anyone who has sort of you know, like some people kind of have like a squeamishness, like, oh, it's like too hard to get the meat off the bone. Like, go there. That's your.
What's your number one wing spot? I think I know.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking like just straight up classic buffalo wings,
just
like,
for you personally.
Yeah, that's gonna be Vindictive.
I knew it. Me too. You know that's my favorite as well.
I was going to ask you about Vindictive as well, because that's right down the street. So I was like, you obviously been there as well. Yeah,
it's like half a block from your house too, Mark. So.
Yeah, totally.
Have you had the Carolina Reaper, like the hottest ones that they do?
Yeah.
No.
That's all Steven gets whenever. So
oh my God, are you
serious?
That is Steven's favorite restaurant in the whole city is Vindictive Wings, and whenever I go,
I feel
bound by obligation to bring him wings, and he wants the hottest shit you can possibly get.
Wait,
it's like an endorphin high.
So he gets like a half a dozen of the Carolina Reaper ones that are like not even on like because there's like the habanero, then there's like the mango habanero that are also like reasonably spicy. Those ones. But then afterwards there's a Carolina Reaper and it's like exponentially more spicy.
That might not be the one he gets because I'll just be like, give me the hottest ones. I don't know. Like the Super Bowl, who cares, right? Like I'm not. It's the Super Bowl of flavors to me. I don't care because I'm never gonna touch it. So I'm just like, Mike, Morgan, get the spicy one, put them in a box, and then I'll hand them off. I'll do the package delivery, the drugs delivery to Steven. But I think it is.
My assumption is that if you walked up to the bar and said, give me the spiciest ones, I don't know, they would be like, oh, this person's not going to want the Carolina Reaper ones. Because they would literally be like, are you sure?
I'll fact check that.
Yeah.
I know this because I've done it. I definitely... you know, if we can have a little story about Vindictive Wings, because I have the first time I went there, it turned into an emergency, and then the second time I went there, we did it with my work, like for our little holiday party. We all just kind of agreed to meet there, and I told them the story about the first time I went there, which basically is just that I ordered the Carolina Reaper wings. I have a really high spice tolerance. Like, it's not even about me like flexing about it. It's just like most things that I eat that people think are really, really spicy. I'm like, okay, like this is spicy, but it's not too spicy for me. This was physically too spicy for me. Like it turned into like a physical problem over the course of like a half an hour after eating like 3 of them, where I basically just had to like cash out and be like, I have to go like sit outside. Like I literally sat outside, and I had taken the bus like halfway back from work to be there, and I literally just called my girlfriend to ask her to like come pick me up. And she just like found me sitting on the sidewalk of like First Ave or whatever street that is, and I was like
tears streaming down your eyes.
It's not even tears, like it's just literally like you have a sharp pain in your stomach that feels like your body hates you, and like the sweating that you do is like it's like you're not even sweating, you just like feel like you're sweating. And it's like just this really horrible, uncomfortable feeling. So I told this story in at least as many words to all of my coworkers. And of course,
challenge
people are like, okay, yeah, it sounds like we're going to have to get these wings. So
what a reaction to that story.
There were a range of emotions.
Pain? I want it. Bring the pain to me. Let's go. Field trip.
One person definitely like lost consciousness for like a brief period of time. I don't know if like actually, but like I saw that their eyes were like, it was like Vietnam, you know, like they had they were having a bad time.
It was like Vietnam.
And then there was some other people that were like, you know, handling it. They all had like one wing, by the way. You know, like I think if I had just had one wing when I had my first experience, like I would have been able to be like, okay, that's crazy, but like I'm still gonna make it home by myself. So yeah, that's kind of my story, is that those wings are absolutely no joke. If anybody listening thinks that they have an unusually high spice tolerance and they're also willing to risk a substantial amount of pain, physical and emotional, then please go do that at Vindictive. But all their other wings are, I agree, the best in the city.
The way that you describe it makes me think that I'm probably not bringing a box of nuclear hallucination wings to Steven every single time. You think I would smell it, right? Like I'd be able to detect.
Yeah, totally.
No, yeah, my girlfriend, she just like smelled the box, like the tub that they were presented to us in, and she was like, "Oh my god, no,
absolutely
like,
not.
That's absolutely like not even edible. Like I don't think people should be eating that."
I will say, if I brought that to Steven, he would eat it. He's a spicy guy. He's the spiciest guy I've met. When we were in Nashville, I had that reaction at Hattie B's Hot Chicken with just every pore of my body, my eyes, my fucking armpits, just flowing sweat and tears and trying to flush the like chemical capsaicin that had been scientifically extracted from the chilies out of my body. And Steven and his son were like, rah, 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 give us some more. So they did not give a shit. Like me in the Super Bowl. They loved it. So
the saga continues. We definitely need to like have an update on whether Steven is actually eating the Carolina Reaper.
I think we need to take a pain field trip, aforesaid. Yeah.
Oh, wow, even more so.
Yeah, bring him there.
So would you say that's the spiciest food you've ever had in Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, I think that also that kind of a spice, like, I don't even know, I guess that is just like, yeah, I mean, I know it's like an extreme amount of capsaicin, but I feel like even Thai chilies, which I cook with all the time, or like whenever I go to like a Thai restaurant, I'll get like, you know, unless they have something crazy where they're like, oh, you think you can handle like 10 spicy even though it only goes to 5, like I'll usually get like a 4 because I'm not trying to be like, it's not like a challenge, but like I really do like things that are super spicy. And I think that Asian spice, or more specifically that Thai spice or like Szechuan spice, doesn't nearly do the same thing as like what these, it just feels like they're creating like hash concentrate versus like just smoking regular weed. It's like, oh, you want to like inject the weed into your eyeballs, like here, that's how you get super high, you know?
It's like essential oils. Right. I like how this came out of like, what you been up to, Mark? Like, what'd you write lately?
And that's the podcast way. Like you sort of hope that things sort of, you know, spin out a little bit. I love the flavor of a Thai chili. You know, like there's certain spice that I almost think of it as stimming in a way with food. Like it's kind of really nice to get the little zing. But for me in my older age, I can't do like the maximum anymore. It just doesn't like, it's not the experience I feel like. Maybe my nose runs too much for what feels presentable in public to me.
Yeah, me definitely. Yeah, the snot involved at Hattie B's in Nashville. Jesus Christ.
Well, you also don't want to take away from like what you're actually trying to taste. You know, I think I think my choice in spice doesn't usually come down to like how much I want to like feel that. Like I think calling it a stim is like a really accurate thing. I think there is something. It's like the same way with like Sour Patch Kids. I think just having that like coated with like citric acid and malic acid or whatever it is, like it does kind of like it does kind of create this like really pleasurable like hit. But I think that unless it like is adding to the flavor in a really fun way, like I don't like spicy drinks. Like as a bartender, like you know what I mean? Like people ask for spicy drinks and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna. I mean, you know, obviously I'll do a good job, but it's like I don't really relate to like wanting that. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like unless it's a Bloody Mary or like there's a couple drinks that I feel like have really, you know, kind of stood out as drinks that are supposed to be spicy. But people who just want like a spicy margarita, I'm like, like you just want just a regular one, so good, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it kind of messes with my perception of how much alcohol content is in the drink in a way. Like in a way that's sort of disturbing.
I never thought about that, but that's probably like very true because it takes away from like people describe alcohol as having like a bite, you know. I feel like they're even marketing non-alcoholic ingredients as that now, where they're like it has that bite you want. Once again, that's probably like a Super Bowl commercial where it's like, you know, when you're in your truck and you want to drive and have a bottle in your hand, but it can't be whiskey, but you still want that bite.
You still need drugs. Give me like a Sichuan peppercorn any day over like a chili, like the chili fruit, or especially that extracted capsaicin flavor. I'd rather have peppercorn flavor, which is a different plant but a different kind of spice. I like that better.
Yeah, I like the flavor of a jalapeno or a serrano or a Thai chili. But past that, it starts to get too astringent.
How are those chilies that I grew? Because I grow those dragon chilies. Did you use them?
I ate every last one of those.
Really?
In various contexts. I chopped them up, put them on sandwiches. Cool. I kind of even I did a thing where I would just sort of take one and like take a little chomp of it between bites of like some like rice dish I had or something. Yeah. They were great.
Were they
hot?
Such a
good flavor. They were hot, but they weren't as spicy as that chili can be.
Right, because they were grown in Tacoma and not Thailand.
They were grown in a place that was less spicy.
And water,
But
That plant dropped about 200 rotten chilies into the garden, so we'll have them again, I'm sure.
I will take all that you feel inclined to offer.
Sounds good. Should we talk more about food writing?
Well, I guess
just the eater reorg, and
yeah,
that's a big chunk of your income, right?
It's not a big chunk of my income anymore because it was a thing that I sort of saw coming and made some contingencies for. So, I do copy editing freelance for the same company that you copy edit for, thanks to you. I also have a part-time day job too, just doing really dumb office type work. So there's that as well. I hope to do more food writing when that is more. Probably I'll have to. I when I think about this, I think, well, I'll probably have to just kind of do it myself, make my Instagram more of a food writing thing or something like that.
Well,
I don't know. I mean,
there's not a lot left in Seattle only. There's The Infatuation, which we probably shouldn't talk about, and there's Seattle Times, which has 3 full-time writers, so they don't use a lot of freelancers. There's The Stranger, where I write, which you certainly could pitch to.
These seem to not really have much of a desire to do a lot of food stuff, though.
The Stranger?
Yeah, in addition to what you do, I don't know.
I pitch them very aggressively. Sometimes they reach out and say, hey, we're doing a food issue, and so then I'll do my best restaurants in Seattle. But most of the stuff that I write that's food for The Stranger, I have thought of and pitched to them. So if you're waiting around to get pitch offers, The Stranger probably isn't going to send you any. My understanding is that people on staff also want to cover food.
Exactly.
So I'm competing with them. That said, there's nothing to stop you from just being hey, I want to write about Amaro or something.
Yeah. And
sending a pitch. So they do want food content. They're focusing more on news, understandably. I'm glad they are. Seattle needs that. So
yeah. Well, I mean, that sort of brings us to the other thing that I think you as well have been thinking about a lot, is how do you write about food? And usually it's always seems to be in sort of a context of luxury or kind of recreation.
It is luxury,
at a time where there is such emergent issues happening in the country as a whole, it feels very I had this experience, and it's no one's fault. It just sort of illustrates where we're at. I was on Instagram a few weeks ago and looking at stories, and one story came up that was video of Alex Preddy's murder from a new angle, right? And I was just horrified. And the very next thing that showed up was just someone from Seattle posting footage of them dancing at a party, and I just felt
how can you dance? Yeah,
but I mean, by all means, enjoy your life. It's this person who posted that didn't think, I'm going to post a video that comes right after Alex Preddy's video. No one's trying to do that, but that is sort of the mix we're in right now. It's really hard to be all right, well, the government's, I guess, invading its own states now, and I just had a delicious piece of pizza pie. Check it out. It feels hard.
I think about it every day. Writing about food, especially, I'm covering Hamdi, which I love, but it's about $200 for a meal with your buddy there. It's hard. I love Hamdi, and also Hamdi is an immigrant story. It's political. I'm helping them lift their culture by writing about it. I'm writing about how Chef Burke does an ancient practice of mincing his kebab, where he uses the gigantic scimitar knife, and he takes the kidney fat and removes the silver skin, and does this sort of craft, this art form that is not even really practiced in Turkey very much either. So I feel if you can't afford Hamdi, understandably, I kind of can't either, it's nice to learn about the culinary practices that they're doing there. You have to find an angle to it.
Yeah.
And then I'm am I just making excuses for these radical luxuries that most people can't afford? I don't know.
No, I think culture really is the angle you take, because it's not you're going to go cover some American steakhouse and be look how good they cook it to medium rare. That's awesome. It's you're really highlighting something that whether or not people can afford it, You know, because I think a lot of people are just looking at Instagram for recipes and like for techniques that they can try at home. Like, just because I can't afford to go to Hamdi doesn't mean that I wouldn't be really curious to like look up what he's making and see like what the barrier is for me to like somehow do something like that at home, or just be able to appreciate the culture that it's derived from in like a more basic sense. And I really think that's kind of what the obligation is now, is to focus on like immigrant culture, or like not even immigrant culture, like that's just American culture. Like, these people have been here long enough, like it's just American culture, you know?
And in the case of Hamdi specifically, and many other restaurants, like they do pop-ups sometimes where they roast a lamb, and you can go get a lamb, you know, wrapped in lavash for $15 or something like that, and they donate the proceeds to a charity. Like, they do things that aren't a pre-fiche, you know. You can go get a drink there, I believe, and sit at the chef's table. Like, there are options. You don't always have to go in and drop a couple $100. So I guess that's how you have to spin it when you're writing these very, like, privileged, seemingly, or privileged on the surface stories. You have to be like, well, there's options, and you're documenting something so that maybe someone who is curious about it later can look it up, can learn about it, can stop by for a drink, can go to the pop-up, etc.
Yeah, it does feel helpful to write about the world that we want to exist. You know,
That's
like,
beautiful, Mark.
You know, I want there to be a world where Chef Burke is doing that kind of thing, and really, like, where my neighbors are able to own businesses and express their talent and skills in that way. You know,
it's weird to think that like writing about a lamb roast detracts from the horrible things that are happening in different parts of the world, or even in Minneapolis. Like, does it necessarily take away from
I don't know
what's
that it
going
does,
on?
but it's there are moments wherein it feels like it, or something.
It feels like,
it feels like, okay, well, in a world of opportunity costs, and I'm spending my time on this, should I be?
Is there room for both? This is sort of a lazy, like, excusey thing my brain does, but I'm like, other people are documenting this because they're on the scene. Am I supposed to go travel to Minneapolis and document it more? Like, they got it. What if I'm documenting something else that is also helpful for our society? I don't know. Is that just me bullshitting myself? I don't know.
I think it's the $1 million question right now. I mean, I think anybody with like a baseline of empathy is struggling with that every day, where it's like, you know, I think about what it's going to take for me to like quit my job and like just stop caring about, but it's like we all have obligations, you know. It's like I have a partner to take care of, I have rent to pay, and like what good is going to come of it if I just decide to like forego making money at all and like do whatever the best idea is. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what you would do in that circumstance, but it just feels crazy that we're all sitting around like working. And I think that's the cognitive dissonance that capitalism requires, frankly.
People were saying, if you say fuck the police and burn it all down and then you're homeless, you can't help people who are in that situation already. You know, if you throw yourself in the gutter, then you drown in the gutter versus being able to lift other people out of the gutter.
I mean, I think the general idea, and once again, like, I'm speaking about this with such a naive perspective compared to others, but like, I think the idea is just disruption. You know, I think you actually have to like disrupt something so that the people that have more to lose than you do feel too scared to lose those things. Like, the bottom line is that if I quit my job, I could just get another job. But if somebody who is relying on this whole like investment they've made in like, you know, they need a certain amount of money to be coming in, there's like projections that need to be met, or else like their whole model is going to fail, then like those are the people that you need to make feel uncomfortable, where it's like, you are going to fail because the people don't care whether you succeed or not in light of like things that actually matter. Like the fact that there needs to be like a radical change in like just how we view things in this country. So I don't really know how to end that statement, but it just, it feels confusing for everybody, I think, to decide, are you doing enough? Could you even do something that matters? What's your responsibility to being happy personally? And like, what's your responsibility to the people that are actually around you that you affect, that depend on you emotionally or financially or whatever? And there's your community around you that you can influence in a real finite way. So I think that as long as you're doing everything you can and being conscious about what you're doing in that way, that feels like all we can really do. I don't know. Like, I wish somebody could prove me wrong and we could all just kind of rise up together. But it just feels like apart from a general strike or some sort of like disturbance that's actually like prolonged, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in a capitalist system, like one big thing you can do is spend intentionally, right? And withhold spending from bad actors. You know, I think everyone probably should consider drastically reducing the amount they spend at Amazon at this point, like given their ties to ICE and whatnot. And, you know,
and destroying Seattle also.
Yeah, I mean, I think
they're raising all the rents because they knocked down all the shitty apartment buildings to build skyscrapers, and
there are achievable goals within, right? Like, I mean, the ideal would be to not spend with them at all, but reduce a bit.
How much do you spend on Amazon every year, Marco?
Less. I mean, probably around zero.
Yeah.
I would say that maybe not zero exactly, because I have a provision where if I cannot find something anywhere and it's like deeply necessary, you know, or something like the cable to the microphone that I
couldn't find today,
and it's like old, and if it's not manufactured anywhere and I can't find anywhere else, then fine, I'll spend $5. I don't think it's going to really like fund them that much, but
I don't think I've given Amazon any money since about 2016, 2015, since the Seahawks played the Patriots.
It always surprises me.
I didn't know it at the time, but that's what made me stop giving money to Amazon.
Yeah. The thing that kind of blows me away is the way that people in general view buying from Amazon. Like, it's just sort of this default. Like, I'll ask someone where they got something, and they'll say, oh, Amazon. Like, in this tone, it's like, well, where else do you buy things? Like, the place that you buy a thing, of course.
The buying things place.
And I think that we can afford to shift from that in at least, you know, to some
extent. What I like to do, I was telling someone this the other day, I like to go on eBay. People will buy like a 30-pack of paper towels on sale, and then they'll sell it on eBay in the package, and you can like haggle, you can like name a price, and
name your price.
So I'll be like, okay, this is a game. This is a game I play with myself. I went to Safeway for cat food or something, and they had 2 rolls of paper towels for $7. I'm like, okay, $3.50 each. I don't like that. I want it to be cheaper. So I went on eBay and like haggled these people down on a 30-pack of the same brand so that they were like $1.75 a piece or something like that. And now I have 30 rolls of paper towels. But eBay, I told someone that who really likes Amazon, and they looked so disgusted. They're like, I forgot eBay even existed. But I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Just even the concept of liking Amazon is crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need to go, like, I feel like this has already been pretty political, but, like, I did go to, like, the Dump Ice rally on Friday before I went to work. And it was an interesting experience because, you know, I guess my main takeaway is that one of the speakers was kind of the head of the group that, although they are tech workers at Amazon, they are trying to oppose the things that Amazon is doing that obviously like need to be opposed very harshly. So it kind of makes you think about like working inside the system that you oppose, because like those people could just quit their jobs, and I feel like they might be able to wash their hands of this. But at the same time, it's like if you have any power to actually like change something in a way that somebody who doesn't work at Amazon doesn't have, then that's kind of your obligation too.
I always say it's more ethical to take money away from Amazon by working there than it is to shop at Amazon.
Right, and be somebody who like opposes what they're doing. But at the same time, like it's a very scary thing. Like those people standing out there, you know, I don't know what their unionization situation is or if Jeff Bezos even cares, you know. But I was just really struck by their courage to be able to stand out there in front of a bunch of people who hated Amazon. And basically said, like, I work for Amazon, but this is what I'm doing to try to make a difference.
Yeah. Is that not what the Sea Creatures folks did by unionizing? Kinda. How do we get on this from food writing?
You know, food is inherently political.
Yes. I was going to say earlier, I wrote a little note, like, where do we think journalism is going? We were talking about what we contribute as food writers writing about something insanely luxurious, but I think that we are food writers and we shouldn't be mistaken for influencers. You know, like we're researching, we're interviewing, we're fact checking, there's a process. And so a lot of people, I'm sure you, Mark, have been called an influencer before. I certainly have.
God, I don't know. I don't know if I have, but I mean,
if it's on Instagram, it must be from an influencer, you know.
I am very curious about whether we, and I mean we collectively, not just like the three of us, agree on the difference between a journalist and an influencer. Because to me, there is a definite line between the two, and there are points where they converge too, because oftentimes you're relating to and getting to know the people at the restaurant, and I think that's sort of a thing that journalists and influencers have in common, is oftentimes like talking to the people that they're interacting with. It's not just like coming in and having food and
telling their story.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to do.
The traditional food critic back in the day, like that's a third thing, right? Where like traditionally the food critic's totally anonymous, or trying to be, and they're coming in and they're simply playing the role of an anonymous guest at the restaurant and experiencing it and then evaluating it later. Like
do you also get called a food critic? I do, and it makes me insane. I would never call myself a food critic.
Yeah, in fact, that's what people most refer to me as. Like if you introduce me to someone else, they'll be like, "Oh, this is my friend Mark. He's a food critic," and I would very much not. I would more accept being called an influencer than I would a food critic. just
they're
because,
both wrong. They're both insults.
They're both wrong, and I don't like either. But it's just not what I'm doing. Like I'm not rating a thing. I'm not trying to. I mean, obviously there is some element of like, okay, well, I'm obviously taking on some form of authority in that I'm writing about a thing, but I'm trying to educate myself about it and know as much about it as I possibly can. But I'm not grading, and I'm certainly not in a mode where I'm writing about something I dislike. And
I almost never write about what I do. I mean, I'll talk shit privately to my friends, but I'm not going to like write an article about, and here's another thing I didn't like. Like that's a waste of my time when I could be lifting somebody up that I did like.
Yeah, exactly. That goes back to the opportunity cost thing, right? Like there's so many places that are doing great. It just makes way more sense to me to spend the time.
It's also kind of a waste of everybody's time. Like if your biggest problem right now is like knowing which places you shouldn't eat at because your favorite food writer decided that they don't like them, then like you need to reevaluate your priorities, like about like what you're outraged about, you know?
Right. Go there anyway and decide for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think that whole perspective is like a real like consumer advocate thing, and to me, I guess I just don't view restaurants as like a consumer model exactly.
Right. And restaurants change, and they change. Like it's a waste of my time to be like, I didn't like this meal when I tried 3 things on a menu of 70 items or something. Like that's stupid. That's not helpful.
I do understand there are certain positions in food writing where you do have to write the negative review when you've spent enough of your publication's money going to a place.
Are we talking about Bethany and Atoma?
Well, I mean, not necessarily that specifically, but that broadly. Yeah. I mean, just in anyone who's a food writer for a newspaper, right? And the newspaper is paying for you to go to this place and then go to it again and then go to it the third time. You don't really have a whole lot of opportunities to just be like, I'm not going to write about this.
Right. You've spent $1,000 of your employer's money. Yeah. That's what happened. My understanding is that's what happened with Bethany when she wrote a negative critique. She is a critic, by the way, of Atoma. And it was because she went a few times and her bosses said, hey, you got to write something about this. You've gone like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
You got to say something. So
and I mean, I'm sure that's happened a lot with you know, people who, in a perfect world, wouldn't write a negative review, but sometimes kind of get painted into a corner that way, or paint yourself into a corner.
If you're a food editor at a daily, you will have to be a critic sometimes. Yeah.
But it's fortunate in our positions, we're never in that place because the context we're writing in is where should you go? It's never.
We're also freelancers, so
yeah.
We get to choose. We're free. We're free, you and me. We're free to lose our freelancing client at Eater. With Eater, so the deal with Eater, my understanding is that they are unmanned. So Eater has something like 30 cities. There's Eater Seattle, there's Eater Austin, there's Eater Philadelphia, there's Eater San Francisco. And many of the cities are now unmanned, and that, like, the Eater Seattle editor, who was our editor, Harry Cheadle, got laid off. So there's no one manning these cities. There's no one in, I think, Philadelphia. There's no one in Portland. So they're having cities editors and managing editors hire freelancers to cover that because they didn't want to pay the salary for a full-time editor in those cities. And to me, that's a harbinger of, like, bad, declining journalism.
It is certainly
like,
not a good
that's
thing.
A bad sign.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about where food writing is going. Not that Eater is the only important national food review site. Like, there's Food and Wine, there's other major houses that cover this stuff, but I'm concerned.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, it's part of a broader trend in journalism
right.
as a whole. I mean, obviously the whole thing with the Washington Post is terrible.
Yep.
And it just seems like that's the news you're getting out of journalism, are these, like, swaths of cuts. You're never hearing about, oh, here's a new thing that's expanding.
Right. We decided to invest in food coverage.
Right. We added to our staff, like that.
Right.
So that's feeling really not the best, and I don't know.
I guess that leaves room for influencers who are doing it for free or for clicks or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's kind of because, I guess just speak to, like, the negativity or, like, the propensity to write, like, negative articles as opposed to positive ones. I think that print journalism has learned that from social media, that, like, you are going to get more engagement when people have negative feelings associated to a post. And, like, that's really kind of, like, one of the sad truths about our situation is that, like, when you see something like somebody dancing after you watch a video of, like, Alex Pretty getting murdered from a new angle, you're not going to care as much about the happy thing because, like, obviously the emotional reaction to something so heinous is going to be, like, much stronger, like, in your body.
Yeah.
Is that true, though, about food writing? Like, are we seeing more criticism than positive?
I don't think so, actually.
Coverage?
But I do agree with Jeff's point that people love a negative review. Like, that's
for sure.
Those are, like, the ones that get the most clicks or reads or whatever.
Absolutely.
But
I mean, talk about sports journalism.
I wouldn't know anything about that. What do you mean?
Well, I think that, like, sorry we're all over the place here, but, like, that's like, I think that sports journalism is kind of, like, informs general discourse in this country because they're the people that started with, like, the idea of, like, hot takes and being that you have to say something that's going to agitate somebody, whether it's, like, having a negative opinion of a player or, like, a coach or, like, a situation and just, like, trashing people. And I think ESPN specifically realized that that's how they get, like, a 24-hour news cycle, is if there's just people on there talking all day about their opinions of sports. And, like, the stronger the opinions and the more polarizing the opinions, the better. And I think that it's really easy to draw a line from that to just how people consume news in general. Because sports journalism is, like, a huge way that people relate to journalism in general. Like, in the same way that you can get in a taxi cab and talk about sports. It's like somebody probably didn't read the opinion piece in the New York Times, but they certainly saw Stephen A. Smith, like, yelling about LeBron or something.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole idea of something being overrated is, I think, a really like uniquely modern problem because it creates this paradigm wherein even if you're good, you still might not be good.
Right.
Because you're overrated. Like, people are saying you're better than you actually are.
Sure.
You're good, but you're not that good.
She's hot, but she's skinny. Like, we're still going to find a problem with it.
And when they say people are saying it, they mean we're the ones who are saying it. Like, the person that was on ESPN the half an hour before me and the half an hour after me. Like, that's where I'm getting this consensus from, is from within this company that is perpetuating this need for opinions.
I am surprised to hear this analogy because it's not something I ever considered, even one time. But, like, maybe it's true. I now have to read about how most people consume sports journalism, even if it's through videos and shit on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Like, I never thought about that. But you're right, it's a language that most people speak. Just not me.
Those who are interested in food, though, I think are more inclined towards positivity. I will say that, like, I think food is more of, like, a universally joyful experience than whatever else we're talking about. So I think it's easier to be positive about food because your reader base is looking for uplifting feelings.
How do you two, both of you, interact with food journalism? Like, do you sit and read a long form story about a restaurant? Do you watch reels? Do you watch influencers? Like, how do you both consume food journalism?
Yeah, I do both.
Yeah.
I'll watch some reels from people who I think, are probably considered influencers. Like, just because I don't consider myself an influencer doesn't mean I think that influencers are all bad. I think just like there are crummy journalists, there are also crummy influencers, but are also great journalists and great influencers, actually.
Right.
I think
you read listicles and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll read a listicle, especially locally, because I just kind of want to, for my own information, I want to know what's already been covered, because what I'm always trying to do, and it's intensely difficult, actually, as I'm sure you know, is if I'm going to write an article about recommending some places, like it's pretty useless to just be repeating the same things over and over again. And to a certain extent, you kind of have to repeat a couple places just to give yourself some credibility. Like, if I'm going to make a Wings map, Vindictive Wings is going to be on there because, number one, it should be. And also, if it's not on there, I think people are going to, not think the map is...
They won't trust you, yeah.
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 But the effort is always to try to be like, well, there should be some new information on there, especially if there are more than 15 good places in the city.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's always the rub, pun intended, when you're trying to put together, for example, a chicken map. Like, I think it maxes out at 20, and you always have more that you want to include. Like, it's a city, it's not a town, so there's 30 of your favorites. So It's hard to decide. Jeff, what about you? Do you consume written food journalism?
Well, I was going to say, I don't think that I necessarily have the need to stay up on things in the same way that either of you do. So I kind of look at it from a perspective of I just look at menus. When I first started bartending, I would literally just go through major cities that were, at a totally different part of the country and just look at whatever the top 10 cocktail bars are and go through their menus. And then I would just straight up steal those ideas behind the bar wherever I was, because if there's some dude in Louisville that's doing really cool things with yellow chartreuse, it's okay, cool, now I'm doing cool things with yellow chartreuse. And I'll tell people that, it's not like it's a secret where I think I need to be this all-knowing person. But I think the same thing is true with, I think I've just kind of picked up, if I'm curious about a place, the first thing I do is just go to the website, which I guess, I'll get it from word of mouth. I guess it's really kind of what you're asking is I work in a restaurant, so people are always talking about, oh, I just went here. Have you tried this place? My coworkers are oh yeah, my friend works here. They used to work for this person who used to work there. So the network and the curiosity kind of takes care of itself. But then I just kind of look at a menu and I'm well, what do they have that I would be interested in? I don't know if most people are like this, but I feel like my girlfriend and I both kind of already know what we're going to order before we go to a restaurant because we're excited, and it's sometimes they don't have an up-to-date menu and we get in and we're oh man, this is a different menu. So we have to kind of decide on the fly, which is also really fun. I'm not I'm okay with not having that kind of control of the situation.
Sure.
But yeah, it's fun to just look through menus, and whether that's because you want to go to a place or once again because you want to try it at your house or at your restaurant or at your bar or whatever, I just kind of like looking at the ingredients.
All right. That's journalism in a way, a menu. It's self-journalism. It's like a press release.
Right, because they get to decide how they want to present it. I mean, I think the menu is the same thing as looking at pictures of the space. It's what's the context for this menu? We talked about Tomo last time we were podcasting, and it's I just view that as a very simple presentation. The room you're in is very bare bones. It's very minimalistic, and the food is just well thought out. They're not reinventing the wheel in a lot of ways, but it's just really high level of execution with ingredients that I think are intriguing. And it's just somebody who's doing what they're passionate about, in my estimation. So
it's funny that you bring up Tomo because that's the last slightly negative review that I wrote, and they were very, very pissed off.
Damn.
In 2021 or whenever they opened, it was an 80% positive review, But I was like, hey, like, we were still hungry when we left. They had just opened, too. And, like, I don't know. I felt bad. I was like, we went to the roasted corn stand afterward across the street and got some food. So we paid a lot of money and were frustrated that we were still hungry. And the folks at Tomo were very, very pissed off about my story.
I'm happy to present a counter narrative to that, because I don't know if I even mentioned this on the podcast last time, but we ordered some sort of like ahi dish, and compared to like seafood places I've worked in the past, it's like they literally gave me like 3 times more fish than I would have been expecting. You know, like they could have literally, I think it was like 5 pieces of ahi tuna that were like fat. And it was like, you guys literally could have given me 2, and I would have been like, okay, that's just how prices in Seattle are. So maybe they took it to heart.
Maybe that's, you're welcome, Jeff. Maybe that's, it's not. Nothing against Tomo. I really enjoyed all the food that I had. Mark, have you been to Tomo? I can't remember.
No, I haven't yet. I've sort of been experiencing some renewed interest in it since they sort of changed their model a little bit. In, I think, not that recently, maybe like 6 months ago or so.
Yeah.
And
the bar is lovely too. Sitting at the bar and just eating snacks is really nice too. Maybe I'll go do that sometime.
It's one of those places that I sort of have earmarked as everyone else has covered this. I don't really need to have an opinion on it right now, but I want to go eventually. But when it's,
I have to assume the bar menu has changed lately since I went 3 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Like their menu is much different now. And
let me know if you want to go drinking.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else on food writing before we talk about what we ate?
Let's talk about what we ate.
Okay. What'd you eat during the Super Bowl? That's what I want to know.
Oh, yeah. So, well, I went to a party that was hosted by Damn the Weather. Okay. And I got invited to it via my friends Shane and Amanda. Shane's one of the owners at Stevie's and Lupo. Oh,
yeah, Shane Abbott.
Yeah. And they had just, it was kind of like a potluck thing, but Shane ordered tacos from El Rinconcito.
Okay.
Which is like kind of, it's kind of like a local chain-ish. Yeah. Or regional chain, I think.
It wasn't always a chain. It used to be like 2 or 3 locations, and it was fire, and there would be like a line around the block. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's still good. Like that was great. I hadn't had El Rinconcito in so long.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I kind of thought, I wonder if I'll still like this, because my reference point is different than, when I was like 20 or something like that. But it was great. They just opened up a new location in Seattle proper now.
Okay. Nice.
I can't remember where it is exactly.
We'll look it up.
But yeah, and that was actually the main Super Bowl food I had. I also had chips and queso. I'm a great lover of queso dip, as previously.
Mark loves queso. I also love queso.
Yeah, it's hard to find in the configuration I like the most though, which is like no cream cheese involved, no roux involved. We're talking just like pretty processed cheese, sodium citrate as the emulsifying agent.
For listeners at home, by queso we mean chile con queso. We don't mean all cheese, although I actually am a fan of all cheese, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah. I tend to call it queso dip.
Sure.
But yeah, chile con queso for sure. I've been loving Wayland Mill lately. I don't know if you guys
still have not been. I keep telling them I'll go, and I don't go. What do you like there?
Well, they've got like a daytime and then evening mode, right? So during the day, it's pastries and sort of like light bites. Ellery Collins is there heading up the pastry program.
Really?
So the pastries are super on point. There's this
from Boots Getting Bread.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
there's this ginger scallion bacon scone that is the best scone I've ever eaten. I'm not normally a fan of scones, but I found it worth trying, and then that was rewarded soundly with deliciousness.
Wow.
And they have a porchetta sandwich during lunch that is just bonkers good. It's got this scallion focaccia that's amazing with oyster sauce and like yuzu mayo. It's just super rich, great flavors. But what I would recommend people do, because they're really busy generally in the morning, is check out their dinner hours, because when I've been there for dinner, it's been more mellow and easy to get a table. It's been a couple months since I've been for dinner, so maybe people have caught on in the wake of their James Beard Award nomination. Mm-hmm. But that porchetta gets plated with like hot mustard and this sort of like ginger salsa verde on the side.
Okay. Gee, and ginger salsa verde. Holy shit, dude. You're blowing my mind.
Yeah, they've got this black cod plate that comes with this like sweet and sour vinegar with tartar sauce mix as like a sauce that sounds like really simple and kind of is, but it's really delicious.
Holy shit.
They're doing great stuff over there. Both
everything you said, I demand, I require it.
Yeah, people are sleeping on the evening, I think. So get there in the evening menu and hit that up.
I'm gonna go this week. I'm going. I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, let me know. I might join you if I'm available.
Let's do it.
I love that.
And then we'll go get a drink at Tomo on the other side of town.
Perfect. I also checked out Pigeon Cooperative a couple of times. That place is so good, you guys. Have you been yet?
No, I'm a bad person. It's in a hard to get to area for me.
It is.
That's no excuse.
Yeah,
but
both places are difficult for me as a transit person to get to. But once the weather is better and it has nice, so it's just a bit of a walk after the bus.
Yeah.
But,
I used to work down there, and I remember it was a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Down in that fisherman's terminal area. Yeah.
It's a cool area though, and it's a cool place to be. Like they've decorated that spot like really beautifully. It used to be a dive bar.
What did you eat there?
I've had their ramen, which is fantastic. If people don't know, it's a little bit of a different style of ramen. So it's not like shio or shoyu or miso or like tonkatsu. It's I can't remember the name of this broth, but it's chicken based.
Okay.
So like chicken bones, real roasted deep and simmered for a long time. So it's got this really deep flavor, but it's not as like rich as a tonkatsu. It's sort of like in between like the shio, shoyu, and tonkatsu zone. Has more treble notes to it, if you will.
They said treble notes.
No trouble there.
All treble, no trouble.
Their ingredients that they use in their ramen are so good. I mean, they make their own noodles, so the noodles taste great and have like this really fantastic toothiness. They're using market ingredients that I think the produce is seasonal. When I went, there was like watermelon radish and whatnot. I think right now it's like squash. And then, fantastic. Very simply, there's chili crisp noodles, which like it's hard to beat really good noodles, and so they make the noodles in house again, and I think it's a different type of noodle. It's not the ramen noodle. It's I should have written it down, but did I write it down? Nah, I didn't. All right, but that has peanut sauce and fermented greens, and then you can add a wok fried egg to it, which I definitely recommend you do. Just
Mark, you have excellent taste. Everything you've said here is just like fucking off the charts.
Yeah, it's bonkers good.
Maybe you're just a good food writer. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's all garbage, but you're just good at describing.
There's other things that I'm really dying to try. Their menu is pretty like broad. Like there's different stuff. There's sandwiches there too.
There's sandwiches. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's like rice dishes. It's not like a giant menu. It's not like Cheesecake Factory style, but there's different
opposite
modes.
Of the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Pigeon Cooperative.
Yeah. And then maybe the last place I went recently was the Rebel in Wallingford. That used to be Kate's Pub.
Oh, shit. There's something in Kate's Pub now. I knew they closed.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the owner, if I'm not mistaken, is a former employee of Kate's Pub.
Oh.
So,
the Rebel.
Sort of same staff-ish.
Okay.
And same clientele. They brought back all the sort of like events that they used to have, like trivia nights and karaoke. So Pat Clark's still there doing karaoke.
I love Pat Clark.
Wednesdays, and they're doing their it feels like just like a little bit of a shift for Kate. So the menu is very different though, and the menu is really interesting to me because it's a definite dive bar menu, but they're making a lot of things in house. And they notably fry everything in beef tallow.
Ooh, girl. Shit,
yeah. So
shit.
I don't care why, you know, like I don't know, like RFK ass,
Not
like
asking questions.
but I do know that frying in beef tallow tastes good, so I'm all in on that. I had their fries. The fries they're fried in beef tallow, so it's like it's bonkers great. Like these are some of the best fries in the city.
Really?
For what that's worth.
I sent someone to Gainsburg the other day for some duck fat frites, and they got there and said they use canola oil now, and I was like, God damn it! So I'm glad to know that the Rebel offsets the loss of the duck fat frites.
It does. This is news to me. I didn't know that the duck fat frites are no more at.
I get it, but I was sad about it.
I mean, it's with the cost of things that makes perfect sense, but.
Now we have compensation for that at the Rebel.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also had, what did I have there? Like I had queso dip there, and that had some cream cheese in it. It tasted good, but like kind of. You
would. Classic Mark DeJoy.
Yeah. And then I was there yesterday because I just worked straight through this last week, just like nothing but doing work. And then I finally finished my latest deadline for copy editing. I thought, I'm just gonna like go get a cheesesteak there because that's a thing they have, and the infatuation was raving about it, and you know, like I tend it's funny, like, you know how there's that thing of like there's just you got to find the critic that you agree with, you know, and I kind of don't tend to agree with them, and sort of similarly, it was a good cheesesteak, but it didn't have the things I'm looking for out of a cheesesteak. A little bit different.
I agree with Gabe Lorente, who is my former editor at Eater Seattle from years and years ago. I like the things that Gabe says. So. Yeah,
that's a good point. I tend to agree with them too.
Yeah.
But yeah, a very good cheesesteak. But to me, it came on a. Well, I have sort of like a sandwich absolutism, which is where if there's like a certain type of sandwich, if the sandwich has a name. Right, like a Reuben or a
the Runaway,
or a cheesesteak, right? Then I don't think you can alter any of the essential elements of it and have it still be
like a Sazerac or something. Like don't fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're like, oh, this is our Sazerac with gin, like it's not a Sazerac anymore, right? Or it just doesn't hit the same way, and so they aren't altering it extremely. They're using Seawolf hoagie rolls. But the Seawolf hoagie roll to me reads like a demi baguette. So it's like really crusty and real substantial and just like so nitpicky though of me. But like that's just not what I'm looking for out of a cheesesteak. But
that's what you're here for, to be nitpicky.
Yeah, every other element.
You're being a real food critic right now.
I know. I'm being a food critic. That's what's happening. You got me.
That all sounds fantastic. What did I used to say on Sid's show? Let's all go. I said it on Dinnernet too. Let's all go. Fuck yeah. Let's all go. Jeff, where'd you eat? Let's do Jeff first.
Yeah, I got one, and I'll kind of stay on theme with the day of the Super Bowl because it was a long day for me. I flew back from Phoenix that morning, so I woke up at like 4 a.m. and we got back. And you know, when you're on a trip for like 4 or 5 days, you don't have any food back in your fridge when you come home. So, you know, and I had plans for the game, but like we just needed some lunch, and I live in Fremont, so I knew Khao Samai opens right at noon. I've ordered from them day and night a lot of times. I think it's some of the best Thai food in the city. It's just that like orange house that's like
it's been there forever.
Right across from Rebel rather. And I ordered online, like right when they opened at 12, and I was walking over there like 10 minutes later, and they gave me a call, and they said, we're not open because it's Super Bowl Sunday, but we made your food anyway.
Aww.
So you can come through like the back door and get it.
Cute.
I love that.
We're here hanging out, making food for ourselves to watch the Super Bowl. So
right.
We made your
well,
food.
I think they were loading up their catering truck, so I think that, you know, regardless of why it happened, I was honestly just like incredibly touched because there's no way they could have known how hard of a day I had already, and how much I really just like needed that food, and you know, not just like physically, but like emotionally as well. And yeah, I mean, after like, you know, we don't have to get too into it, like why Phoenix is such a conflicting place to be right now. But I cried when I got home because it was like, this is the neighborhood that I live in, you know, like this is why I'm here, because like, I'm so happy we have all this diversity here. And like, guess what? The people who are responsible for that diversity are so oftentimes like the best neighbors you have.
Yeah.
So like, it just really makes me feel even more passionate about just caring about places like that are just here for your community. Like whether it's me specifically that day, like those are just great people. Like I know that one of the daughters that like of the family that owns it, she has like Pad Thai Princess vintage like in Fremont as well. So like they're just a Fremont family. Like they are Fremont.
Yeah.
So
they've been there forever.
That was a really important meal for me this week. I think.
What did you eat? What was the meal?
It was just pork fried rice. You know, like I literally was just like, I just want some pork fried rice off this airplane right now. And yeah, obviously it was incredible. But like, you know, I love, they have like a duck soup that they do that's really good. All the classics like pad see ew. Actually, one thing, I was bartending at Stampede years ago, and somebody that worked there, I think once again for the family that owns it, came in and sat down, and they were really pleasant to have a conversation with. And they said, I asked them like, well, what's the thing that you guys do that like most like Americans wouldn't realize is like a cool thing that you do? Because every place has like the pad see ew and like pad thai and like all this stuff. And she said the banh mi hang, which is kind of like a skinnier noodle. I don't think it's a rice noodle, but it's just like a really like kind of like light noodle. And there's just like a bunch of herbs and peanuts all over it. And I forget why she said theirs was so special, but ever since then, you know, I got it too much afterwards. So now I have to order other things. But like that was the thing that I got with like barbecue pork. And
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so many dishes there have made me happy over the years, and I'm just really happy that they're my neighbors.
Great. I'm happy they're your neighbors too. What did I eat during the Super Bowl? Oh, I was here at my office during the Super Bowl. Steven went off to his local Brass Lantern pub to watch it. I was like, I'm not going over there. So I was up here in the office in my tower, in my ivory office tower. And as I was walking up the street, I saw the Taste of Samoa truck, which I've been trying to catch for like a year. They were in Parkland at the SARS Super Saver supermarket for a while. And then I made Steven drive me out there, and then they weren't there that day. I didn't know if they were still in business. I was obsessed. It was an obsession. And they were right in my neighborhood, parked right in my freaking neighborhood. So I had already eaten, but I was like, I don't care. I pulled over, actually saw their flag. Fun fact about me and Steven, we're vexillology nerds. We like flags. We have all the flags memorized. So I saw the Samoan flag from the end of the block, and I was like, by gosh, that's the Samoan flag. And I ran up, and then lo and behold, it was Taste of Samoa. And they had a bunch of different stuff that I was interested in. They had lamb curry, which was very tempting. They had some stuff I'd never heard of, and I didn't know what it was. Some pastries. They had like a pineapple bun that was sort of fried like a donut. And then they had lumpia, which I don't normally care about lumpia at all. But I just talked to the woman. I was like, so excited to see you're here. I've been trying to catch you. She goes, we're often at Seahawks games. But we're not today, of course. Seahawks were in San Francisco. But she's like, so we're in the neighborhood outside of this tavern where people are watching the game. So she recommended that I get the mixed plate, and it was beef ribs. It was 2 massive, like dinosaur bone beef ribs, ragged, fallen off, briskety, or short ribby, I guess, on rice. She had a bunch of like, I think it was lamb, like little sort of knurled, caramelized, Maillarded bits of meat that had like sort of like a tropical pineapple teriyaki type glaze, barbecue glaze, and then a big chicken drum that had been barbecued within an inch of its life. Also had sort of like a reddish glaze on it, fallen off the bone on a bed of rice. She gave me 2 lumpia, and she gave me one of those pineapple fried bun things. I'm holding my hand like this. Pineapple bun. It was like this. It was big. Crack it open, little bits of pineapple in it. I was not hungry, so I kind of was working, and I was just sort of like, type. There's some bits right here. I know, and it was all paved over with rice underneath. And I'd be like, type. And they'd be like, well, these lumpia aren't going to be good later, so I better just... Best lumpia I've had in a long fucking time. I also like the lumpia at Woven, so I won't say they're the best lumpia ever because those ones have like ginger in them, but these were very good. They were long. They were very delicate and crispy. They had pickled carrots, I think, and pork. They're light. That's what I don't normally like about lumpia. It's like flabby and you bite into it and the inside wonton wrapper isn't fried enough. This was just perfect and tight. It was wonderful. And then I took the whole box over to Stevens after the Super Bowl and we ate the beef ribs, which were amazing. The chicken was really good. The chicken was flavored almost like the lamb, almost like something red meaty. And we loved it all, and I can't wait to spot them again. So I followed them, and I'm going to, like, stalk them now so I can get that lamb curry. One of my favorite meals, I mean, it's only February, but one of my favorite meals of the year, easily. And I wasn't even hungry. So that's what I ate during the Super Bowl, but I didn't watch the Super Bowl. And then, belatedly, my buddy Best Lovejoy took me out for my birthday, and we went to Cafe Suleiman. Incredible. I hadn't been there in a while. One of my favorites in the city. I can't even remember what we had. We had a chicken with roasted kohlrabi in sort of like a saucy sauce. I think there might have been couscous. We got roasted carrots on labna. Either labna or whipped feta.
I know her.
Labda. I just met her. We got lots of roasted veggies on creamy things. And I'm trying to remember, like, which one was the whipped feta and which one was the labna. You know Suli, like, you know what it is. And so he's originally from United Arab Emirates. He's from Abu Dhabi, I think, right? So he's doing sort of Emirati food, I suppose, but also there's some French cuisine mixed in.
Yeah, for sure.
It's lovely. It's just, everything is spiced beautifully. And then Cafe Suleiman is sort of splits the space with Cantina Sauvage, which is wine. So his buddy Mark Papineau, who I believe is French, is a somm, and so the wine is incredibly beautiful as well. So, and they do wine cocktails. I got Porto Tonico, which I love.
Wonderful.
It was really delicate and beautiful with the white port and vermouth. We just had a gorgeous meal there, and I want to go back. And I want to, like, take everyone I know, be like, oh, you got to go to Cafe Suleiman. I know people know about it, but, like, Bess isn't a super duper foodie, and she was like, I didn't know this was here because it's inside Melrose Market, right?
Yeah, right.
It's sort of just like in a mall, but it's so gorgeous. And then when I was interviewing Hamdi, the folks at Hamdi, I stopped at Outsider Barbecue and talked to Chef Onur, and he's hilarious. And I got that jalapeno cheddar sausage that I love that's made out of the brisket. It's so good. Yeah. And he does, he's doing like a esquites kind of thing with tons and tons of cheese in it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had the esquites? The street corn. Yeah.
Yep.
I believe they're doing a 1-year anniversary party on the 21st.
Oh, nice.
I think it's the 21st, the Saturday, whatever the Saturday is of that weekend, and they're going to do food celebrations. I love that guy. I love everything he makes. So the place is marvelous. I think that's it. We're at an hour 20.
Jesus.
I guess we'll skip the news. We'll do news next time.
Yeah.
Mark, I would love for you to be a recurring phenomenon on the show.
Phenomenon.
I missed podding with you.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, cool.
It was really great to meet you, Mark. It was super fun to talk with you.
Great to meet you too, Jeff. Yeah, this has been great.
This is easier than hauling all our stuff down to the oyster cellar every week, right?
It sure is.
You just need that cable and you'll be all set.